And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right.
Okay. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. It really is tough when we do it on Zoom like this, but we manage. Do we have any agenda adjustments?
I don't have any.
I'm not aware of any either. So we'll move on to item 2.1. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the November 18th, 2020 Board of Directors meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Joan, seconded by
Yes.
Robbie.
Robbie seconded. Any corrections, discussion? Hearing none, then I'll call for the vote.
Right, and because we are remote, it does have to be a roll call vote. So Bob,
Yes,
Jen,
Yes,
Robbie,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Stephanie.
I guess I need to abstain, I guess, because I don't have the minutes and wasn't there.
Fair enough. Okay. Is Andrea here?
Yes.
No,
Yes,
wrong,
Oh,
wrong, Andrea. That's okay.
sorry.
You are here, Andrea?
Yeah.
yes.
Yep. Yes. Okay. Joe is not here. Dory?
Yes.
Dory. Yes.
I just got an email from her not long ago, so she was
Yeah.
online.
Yeah, I thought she was here. She's
she
on.
was here earlier.
Yes.
Oh, there you are. All right.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Petitions and communications.
I do not have any.
Okay, then we'll move on to reports. Superintendent's report.
Sure. So first of all, we continue. We are open in our hybrid model right now. I'll be quite candid. We've dodged some things lately. Being down in remote for a couple of weeks gave us some flexibility. We had some cases, as you all know, that I've been reporting those out, and because we had been in remote, those cases didn't affect us, which was a good thing. But at the same token, we still have had cases. We still have a significant amount of staff in quarantine. I will tell you, we've got a couple of buildings that are pretty short-staffed at this point, and I would say, we're doing the best we can to band-aid things, but we come to the point where if we don't have enough staff, it'll be difficult to open a building. I mean, subs are in short supply. It's just one of those things. So with that being said, our bus driver staff, hold on, I'm gonna mute button here. There we go. All right. So you can unmute yourselves, so our bus driving, our bus drivers are amazing, but we are starting to be a little short-staffed there as well. So we're looking to get creative. We're okay right at the moment, but I'm looking towards the future. If we lose, if we have a couple of our bus drivers get sick, it's going to be really difficult with the current way we have to do transportation. We met as a Western Maine superintendents today. There was significant conversation around funding. We talked about a lot of things. Kathy will kind of give you a heads up on some things that are coming with regards to assessment. But we did talk a lot today about funding. There is the potential that there's going to be some more CRF funding that comes after the new year, and that may be more flexible than what we've already seen. The big concern, this time around is if we're able to use that to offset, revenue shortfalls for next year, creating a cliff in the budget year afterwards. So we're watching that. We're not immune to that. We've had that in the past with the formation of the RSU, but some flexibility would be good. I know state revenues are down, so we'll see what that looks like. We really wanted those first two rounds of CRF funds to be more flexible, and they just weren't. If these are more flexible, that'll be helpful. But again, we don't want to create a cliff in the 2023 budget for sure. So beyond that, I did send out earlier, and I don't know if you all got it or not, but I will share it now. I have put together the budget timeline coming up. So if you look at the screen here, it's not that we're running behind. We just kind of prolong some things a little bit just to see what information we might get, but we're still have plenty of time to work through the budget. The reality is this may be the toughest budget we've ever worked through since I have been superintendent. We're looking at significant revenue shortfalls at the state level. We know that we're down in student count. And so I don't know what that's going to look like. Every school district is talking about this right now. So, at this point in time, looking at our administrators submitting budgets to Scott and I, the 15th, January and February, we're meeting as administrative team to review them. And then we begin our work in March, which is pretty similar to what we've done in the past. I just don't know. The ED 279 is due to us on February 1st, and I will credit the state. The last couple of years, we've gotten that on time. I know that they've actually shut departments down at the state to start working on that now. So, I think we'll get it by February 1st. I don't know if we'll like what it says, but I think we'll have it then, and I'm optimistic that we'll get it. So, I've had a couple of meetings lately. Marco and I met with Wales Fire Department recently to talk about some things. That went really well. It was a nice conversation. Actually, because of that conversation, we're going to be inviting Wales Fire into the high school. I talked to Stan Labby's the fire chief in Litchfield. They're going to be coming in to look at some things, just to get eyes on our buildings to make sure if we had a situation, they know where to go. One of the big things is at the high school, we now have a couple of fire hydrants right near the high school. So that totally changes the way, if we had an issue at the high school, that they might, come into our building where they would lay hose. So we're going to allow them that opportunity. I think it's a good thing, certainly. So as you may know, winter sports have been put off until January at this point. I don't know what that's going to look like. The reality is, anything that is in person in Androscoggin, we're in yellow. We're rated yellow. Androscoggin County is rated yellow. So that's what we are as a district. And so everything's on hold that can't be done virtually. So, we're not doing anything at this point with regards to after school activities, winter sports, things like that. On another note, I think Bob will be excited to hear this because we've talked about it numerous times since I've been here. Our policy book is finally fully online. So I know. So, we've been kind of working through policies. We've got more to do, obviously, that will start in January. But Michelle has worked really hard to finally put together both, because we had an old policy book with the old Oak Hill policies that we've been slowly replacing, but we've had a new policy book with the new policies. Michelle has done significant amount of work lately to put those together, and she's gotten them online. So you can actually go to the RSU 4 website and see our entire policy book online, which is a huge thing. So anyway, that concludes my report. I think you're muted, Bob.
Any questions? No questions? Okay. We don't have any appointments, resignations, or retirements listed.
Nope.
Was it last month that we talked about the special ed administrator person retiring?
Special ed.
Was that mentioned in a meeting, or was that, or not special ed, guidance?
Yeah, that was last meeting.
We did discuss it at the meeting. Couldn't remember if it was at the meeting or just emails in between.
No, that was at the last meeting.
All right. So Kathy, want to give us a report in your CAI?
Yeah, so I just wanted to remind you that our second Portrait of a Graduate event will be conducted tomorrow night. We're going to share the results from all our stakeholders regarding the landscape shifts and the competencies. The event will be recorded and there will be an opportunity for folks to provide feedback again on the wording of the competency. So we have identified the top 6 from, we had over 375 stakeholders provide us feedback and do the landscape shift, as well as 300 and something do the competency. So we'll share those and talk about how can we intentionally teach those as opposed to by chance. We also are going to open up a competition similar to our red logo with the trees that was done by a student. And so we're going to kind of throw the charge back out there as well and see if we can have students or staff or creative community members create an icon that incorporates some image that when people think about RSU 4, we can create with those 6 competencies to create our portrait. So we're looking to give some a nice little reward for whoever comes up with the nicest portrait. On another note, I met with the commissioner today, the deputy commissioner, and the director of assessment for the state. And we were informed today that the state is intending for us to administer the MEA January of 2021. So they promised me that it's only December 9th, so we have plenty of time. So we, told the administrative team today, we are going to look at a proposal about thinking about how can this work for us, what our messaging is. I will say the purpose of them doing it in January it is a good one. Their why of them doing it in January is a good one. They're looking at changing the assessment. So it makes sure that when we give the assessment, our teachers get the results and can inform their instruction based on the cohort of students that they're currently at. In past practice, the MEA would be administered in March. We wouldn't get the results till November, and you had a whole nother cohort of students. So the purpose is good. They are in contract with a new assessment. This assessment would not take very long at all. So we're used to between 6 to 12 hours. We're talking maybe 1 or 2. For each student. That's another win. I think that's really good. I can't share with you what the assessment is until they send out their settle their contract. But I would suspect that they're going to settle and send out notification. Our next board meeting isn't till January 13th, and I didn't want to be able to not say something to you and then say, oh, by the way, next week we're providing the MEA. Consider we normally do it in March. So the MEA where we're talking about is doing the ELA and the math. This is for grades 3 through 8 and 3rd year of high school would be the ones getting this assessment. This is just one part of the big MEA suite. We still are going to be providing our WIDA assessment for our ELL students. We still have alternative assessments for our special ed students. We still have a science one in April. And as I mentioned, I think last time, when the state switched contracts, the SAT lost their contract as well. So they were a subcontract under the company that had the ELA and math portion. And when they cut their ties with that company, the SAT was not funded. So SAT will probably be offered throughout, I was told today, they will be probably offered throughout the state with districts that want to be host sites, but those districts would be doing it on their own on a Saturday and be footing the bill, as opposed to it being during the school day and run through college boards. So it will look a little different. Also saying that there is not one college in Maine that is requiring the SAT. Engineering and nursing were really the two, I think, at UMO that we're still requiring a lot of it just because of their number of applicants. And they're saying that they'll do away with it this year as well. So big news for us. We plan on having a big discussion tomorrow at the administrative team. Our goal is to then come to the teachers and have conversations about what does this look like? How could we do this? And the why, and how does this fit in with our current assessments?
Okay, Okay,
have some requirements to do certain assessments. So figuring out how do we do this? There is some portions of this could be done on remote for that as well. And so we'll look at how we maximize our student learning time the best we can.
all right. I'm sorry I kind of stepped on you. You kind of froze up, and at least on my end. And so I thought you were done. A lot of stuff in your report. Do we have any questions? All right. Thank you. And seeing on my says financial report in the packet. I didn't see it. I think that's usually the end of the month, which we
Yeah, I
won't
think-
have this month.
It was in there, I think.
I had two policies, a minutes, and an agenda.
All right. It was in my packet. I'm trying
I'm
to think.
sorry, Bob. I mean, I sent it out.
Yeah, it's in my packet.
Okay, Vicky was shaking her head. She didn't get it.
I didn't get it
Did you get
either.
a paper packet, Robbie?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, we get ours electronically, so.
All right. So I'll make sure that comes out.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think there's been a couple of times where I said I didn't get it. And everybody said, yeah, it was in the packet. I think maybe it was in paper, but not electronic.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure that happens.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So under committee report, we'll let Robbie go and give us any highlights,
Yeah,
if there's any in that. Okay?
Yeah. that'd be fine.
Administrators reports. Principals reports.
Jamie, you want to go first?
Sure. So I feel like a skipping record this year whenever we give a report. There's not a lot of the things that we normally do going on. We're trying to, liven things up with some spirit days and whatnot right now. I saw some things on social media come up with of memories of last year's ornament night at Libby Tozier, which I'm missing just as much as all of the staff are. It would have been nice for Mr. Jack to get to witness how that goes this year. If anybody's ever been to an ornament night at Libby Tozier, you know what I'm talking about. So it's kind of tough not to have those things. We definitely miss having the parents in the building for events like that. It's a piece that we know is missing from our normal time in the schools. So that's been a little bit tough lately, but we're planning some fun days, spirit things and whatnot at both of our schools. Parent teacher conferences coming up, done differently through video instead of in person, but it does feel like a little bit of normalcy, which is something we're all struggling to find these days and hoping for more of in the near future. Other than that, like I said, I can't share stuff about holiday shows or any of the things we would normally be discussing right now. I do want to give a shout out to all of the staff that I work with, the tech department. Everybody, has way more on their plate right now. Technology is crazy as ever. I'm sure Norma Jean would agree with that one. That might get worse as we move forward with different testing and whatnot, like Kathy mentioned. The Glenn staff, the bus drivers, the maintenance and building crews and the kitchen staff and the teachers and the ed techs, like everybody they're just stepping up. And when we have people out right now due to the quarantines and different things like that, everybody's pulling extra weight. And it's nice to see. It's stressful, but it's nice to see the strong team. So I wish I had way more to share with you, to invite you to the buildings for different concerts and ornament nights and whatever it is Carrie Ricker does, because this would be my first holiday time with them, and I'll have to wait another year to figure that part out. But yeah, so that's what I have right now.
So the middle school, we are getting ready for our parent teacher conference night coming up in a week. Same with the primary school. We're recognizing we've been making a lot of phone calls these last few weeks, trying to talk to parents of cohort D kids to determine whether or not they want to remain in cohort D. We're finding it at the middle school level especially complicated to make sure those kids get equitable education. So we actually are seeing our numbers of cohort D kids go down. We've had several kids come back to us this past week, and we have 2 more coming up this next week, which is pretty good for us. It'd be good to have them back in the building again. At the middle school level today, we celebrated some successes. We had a student of month celebration for the first time. We kind of figured out how to do it using Google Meets. We had each team meet in the morning, and we gave out student of month recognition as well as citizenship recognition to students who've earned it. At the primary school, although we don't have large celebrations going on for the holidays, Alice Gazavava has done a phenomenal job putting together a digital concert for parents, and we're really looking forward to seeing how that comes out. And likewise, we're trying to figure out how to handle the days where kids can't be outside. So one of the dilemmas we're recognizing is what to do when you can't go out to play for recess. And we're looking at purchasing some of those cornhole games and some of those outdoor games you see around a campfire. So I imagine at some point when these kids get older, they'll probably will be Olympic sport, cornhole, ladder ball, stuff like that. But things are going fairly decently at this time. Yeah.
Okay, any questions of Ben? All right. Marco? That who's next?
That would be him. Nope.
You got to turn the puppet there.
How about,
Hi.
is that better? Yeah, for whatever reason, those headphones don't connect to this computer real well. Anyway, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you once again for a couple of moments of your time to update you regarding Oak Hill High School and where we're at this point in time. It was really awesome to have kids back in the building starting on the 30th. Those 2 weeks that we went remote were extremely difficult for everyone, just because you kind of know what you have, when you're there with the kids. We got into this business to work with students, and have those relationships. And then, obviously, because of some COVID issues, everybody was fully remote. So we're just really excited to have people back in the building and kind of get some, even though it's a low buzz, back into the building, that buzz of students moving around the building and talking and having conversations, just sharing those relationships that are so important. So we're just thankful that that's happened. With that being said, just the opposite is happening at Oak Hill High School at this point in time. In regards to cohort D students than what's happening with cohort D students at the middle school. We've seen an increase of cohort D students. I think with the onset of the holidays, we've had more and more parents reach out being concerned about COVID and their students being in the building. And obviously we understand that, but at the same time, it's hard. Just as I said, it's really important for us to have eyes on students and to be working with them face to face. But we respect, obviously, parents' concerns and those decisions to have their students go fully remote. Our best intentions are to make sure that they are getting the education that they deserve. We have obviously a team of ed techs and a teacher that's overseeing, checking in with each student to make sure that they have what they need, to make sure there's no issues with technology, that if they need any support in a class, how can we set up an individual appointment with your teacher to get you the support that you need. But again, I just, wish that everybody could be back in the building just so that we can move things along. Also going on is continued support from the Bar Foundation, and our bar teams continue to make excellent progress with all of the things that are going on. I think at the last meeting, both Sam and I talked a little bit about just the failure rates for ninth graders being extremely low, which is fantastic. We have one of the highest percentages that we've ever had of kids passing all of their classes, which is obviously what the foundation that they need to move forward in their high school career. So that's been great. Sam, along with our teacher leads for both teams, put together some really nice parent newsletters that were sent out, and that just outlines what they're doing for the social emotional learning, who their bar teachers are, and just contact. And so that's been great. And then also we've received our first coaching report, which had some fantastic feedback from our bar team coach. Which again, just showed some of the wonderful progress that as a school that we're making. And last but not least, as both Ben and Jamie have mentioned, we have parent-teacher conferences coming up, which we look extremely forward to. They'll be done virtually, but obviously with the advent of daytime slots and nighttime slots, we feel like we'll be able to see, if you will, more parents than we ever have if it was just a nighttime event. So very much looking forward to that.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, Bob.
Go ahead, Robbie.
Yeah, Marco, with the cohort learners that you're seeing going back to cohort D, are those basically your more responsible learners, and are you finding that maybe some people learning maybe a little bit better in cohort D than they are in A and B?
I
At
wish
the,
that,
at the high school level.
yeah, I wish that was the case, Robbie. To be honest with you, that the kids that were going out, to do cohort D, remote learning were, really capable of doing that remote learning aspect of it. It's really a mixed bag. You have some kids that are really adept at it and others that are not. And that's why we have those support pieces in place to help make sure that they've got what they need. But really it's a mix. And, there's a tool that Kathy gave us that we've been sharing or using in conversation with parents about, is your child a good remote learner, which has helped kind of spur some conversations and keep some kids in the building. But ultimately it comes down to that decision, Robbie, where, they're looking at their health, their students' health, their family over, the academics, which one are they going to put first? And it's a tough decision. It really is.
Well, I'm just worried that the kids that are transferring to cohort D they're not letting go. You know what I mean? So we have to be offering the help to hang on and to get through this, this year. And I would hate to see them go to cohort D because it's the easier route and they're not being, if their parents aren't pushing them or they're not involved in the learning, then they're going to just slide by.
Yep.
But it is the parents that are bringing them out and putting them in D.
Right.
It's not this 16-year-old student themselves putting them in D. So we have to hope that the parents are making a decision and they're cognizant of their responsibility.
Right. Absolutely, Bob.
Students are involved. When it comes down, if they're making a decision between health and educational opportunities are there for the rest of their lives. Health is there just as long as you have it. So to me, it wouldn't be a tough decision if I was worried about the two, because there's always another year for education, lifelong learners that we talk about.
Right.
So they don't have to get it this year. They can get it next year or several years from now, but we hope that they can get it in a timely fashion and get it well and succeed. So, we wish them all the best and hope that they are successful when they go to D, and we hope they're successful when they come back to A or B or wherever they happen to be. Not everyone that's in A and B is probably being as successful as we'd like, just like in D. So it's a bag in all circumstances. Any other questions of Marco or of Ben or Jamie? All right. Then we'll go to Nancy, special ed report.
Yeah, hi, everyone. Hard to believe, but it's that time of year to be thinking about next year's kindergartners. So I met with CDS this week to review what they currently have. And that list, as we know, can get longer. It's only December. But currently, we only have about 5 pre-K kids with IEPs. Some of them, all but one, are currently in our pre-K classrooms, and that's always good. It just helps us prepare for a more seamless transition to kindergarten. So that's about 1/3 of what we had last year. So that's good news. We continue to chip away at the psychological evaluations. In addition to the 2 evaluators that we always contract with, we've been able to find 3 additional evaluators. They're very hard to come by in the state because there's so many districts in the same situation that we are in. We've got one coming as far away as Bangor. So far, it's been going really well. My secretary, Tammy, Deaton is just doing an amazing job coordinating all of that. There's just a lot of work to provide them what they need and the spaces and alerting people that they will be in the building. So we feel really good about that. And along with that, along with the psychological evals, there's almost always academic achievement testing, and that's done by our special ed teachers. So that backlog of psych evals is accompanied by a backlog of academic achievement evaluation. So I just really want to give a shout out and a thank you to our teachers who are taking that on, in addition to, you know, teaching remotely and the in-person kids. It's a lot. And I just want to acknowledge their tireless efforts. Also, I'm working with Spurwink. We met this week to hopefully enter into an MOU with them in the near future. Spurwink counselors are serving about 50 students in our district right now. Most of those, almost all of those, are kids without IEPs. If we do this, this will allow, on occasion when it's appropriate, for Spurwink to take on some of our students with IEPs. Like everyone, we have big caseloads, and our counselors are no different than that. So that's going to be really good. They will be able to bill main care, so it will be no extra cost to our district to have them work with some of our kids with IEPs. And that's all I have.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions? All right. Norma Jean, technology report.
There, had to unmute myself. Good evening, everybody. As Jamie mentioned, the tech team is keeping pretty busy. We've been working on weekends and evenings and on Wednesdays trying to get a lot of the COVID projects buttoned up. So I'll have more details on those in January and also through the subcommittee in February. But a couple of projects that did finish up is we do now have security cameras at Carricker School. So that's a good thing because we have lots of technology going in. And we have security cameras going in this weekend at SPS, LTS, and Central Office. But I'll have more information for you in January and February, but I did want to bring on Jordan Lord. He is the coach for our new esports this year, just to give you a little update on how that's tying in at the high school. And I believe he's on somewhere.
Yes, Jordan is on. I see his name.
Hello, everyone. Yep, I'm the coach for the high school esports team. We just finished our season for the year. We were ranked 4th as of last week. Unfortunately, due to bye games, we were pushed down to 5th place, which makes us not eligible for the playoff season, but we were very close. We were 1 point off. Anyway, the great thing about the esports team this year is that I've had three students that were questionable or needed to have extra support for learning, and they really needed to have, sorry about this. I'm distracted. Anyway, they needed to have a little bit extra. They needed to have support, and they needed to have,
You want me to chime in, Jordan?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think what Jordan's trying to say is just like regular sports, they need to keep their academics up in order to participate. So academic eligibility prompted them to get their academics back in the right spot so they could participate, basically, which is a good thing.
Why we have it.
Yes.
One of the reasons.
Yep.
How many students do we have participating in these sports?
12.
12. Okay.
Yeah, I think for the number, Bob, so we limited the number of kids we can have in the lab at one time, kind of keeping them distance. But it's very interesting to watch. Jordan does post it, but it's like soccer with really interesting automobiles that the kids build, and it's very intriguing to watch the skills and the teamwork that they have to do together to compete, which is amazing.
Okay. Is any questions for Norma Jean? All right, thank you. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
And Mr. Palmer, Jim Palmer, Adult Ed Athletic Report.
Yeah, hi everyone. Superintendent covered a little bit of what's going on with sports. I can give you a little bit more specifics about it. But at this point, we're yellow as a county. So until we're green, we can't do any kind of practices of any sorts. Some schools are able to do it. You may hear other schools doing it. They're doing skills and drills at this point because their county's green. We will, if we ever become green, be able to do skills and drills. The MPA has set a date for January 4th that we can start team practices at that point. So skills and drills really is just dribbling, shooting, rebounding. Team practices would encompass scrimmaging, 3-on-3, 2-on-2, that type of stuff. So the hope is that we get there January 4th, that we'll be green and we can do those types of things. The game schedules, if we're fortunate enough to play, would start on January 11th for both basketball teams, and wrestling has been pushed out to more of a end of winter spring sport because of the close contact. They don't feel that we can make that happen at any point during the winter. So cheerleading is going to be a virtual competition, which I happen to be on the cheerleading committee for the MPA, so I have quite a bit of information about that. It'll be interesting. I think it will be it'll be interesting. We're going to piece together everybody's routines. They have a one-shot chance to do the routine. The AD, athletic director, has to sign off that they only did it once, send it to the judges, and then they will piece it all together into a competition that people can watch. So it'll be interesting. We don't have all the details figured out yet, but that will be sometime in mid to late February. As far as hockey is in the same boat as basketball. The only difference is ice time is a premium because of the cleaning types of issues with that comes with hockey. So they're limiting practices, if you're able to practice, to an hour and a half per session twice a week. So they've really limited the amount of time that you can have ice time. So if, like I said, if we're fortunate enough to play some sports in the winter, it will look a lot different. There won't be spectators. There won't be locker rooms. There won't be, you'll have to come to the games dressed and bring your own water. So there's some real logistics to try to figure out if it does happen. But that's kind of where we're at with winter sports. As far as adult ed, we're still getting a steady stream of students. We've been fortunate. We ask them the questions before they come in, and we've had real good reception of a few students that said, I was in close contact, so I can't come in, and they've quarantined themselves, which I respect that they didn't come into the program. So that piece of it's working. We're working on really having a plan for if we were to have to go remote completely. And I think I mentioned in my previous report, HiSet Academy, we now have put that to use and are using it now as a hybrid with regular instruction, so that if we were to have to go remotely, we would be able to do that with the students that need it. Also, at my last adult ed directors meeting, HiSet is working on a way to be able to test remotely. Right now, you can only do it in person, but since last spring, they've been working very hard on trying to be able to offer a program so that we can HiSet, the old GED, test people from their houses. So and that's about it, unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Student rep report. I don't think I've seen his name up on the screen.
I have not either. And Bob, I'll just let you know, for some reason I'm having connectivity issues. So if I drop, I'll be back. I don't know what's going on with my internet here.
Are you the host?
What's it? Yeah, but I think it'll switch over to Kathy. So
Yeah, probably. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, transportation and operation report. I thought I saw.
Yep. Glenn is here.
Glenn's here
I'm
somewhere.
here. I am here.
Oh, there's Glenn. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. For the most part, all in all, things are going well. As you heard, Mr. Carlton, we got some challenges that are coming up for transportation. I was tasked to reach out to other transportation organizations such as Hudson, SEER, Northeast Charter. And in talking with Northeast Charter, they may be able to assist with that. So hopefully it'll be a minimal impact, if any. But hopefully I'll have some more information for Mr. Carlton as we move forward with that. Building custodians, you heard Jamie say everybody's stepping up. Everybody's doing a fantastic job. Our bus drivers, custodians, and food service, they're remarkable people. And when there is a need, everybody does pitch in. So I want to thank them for that. Custodians, as far as the PPE, we've got those all distributed. We got plexiglass up, and where we're finding where at the time when we put it up, it wasn't known that whether it was going to be needed or not. Those are being installed. As far as helping technology, we're assisting with either taking down whiteboards or assisting removing other old TVs or what have you, so they can install the new TVs as we move forward. Food service, I did want to report out that things are going very well. I think remember at the beginning of the year, we mentioned that we took everything from in front of the line and we put it behind the line. With the amount of students that we have, with cutting the district in half, if you will, that seems to be a little or no impact at all. The students that are having a cold lunch go on one side, and the students that are having a hot lunch go on the other. It doesn't seem to be impacting the staff as far as slowing them down with adding, the milk and the salads and stuff, where before the students would do that. So that seems to be going well. And on our Wednesday serve today, we handed out 1,010 meals. So our Wednesday serves are going well, also with our additional meal packs that we send out periodically throughout the month. So staff morale is going well. Things are going well. So at this point, that's pretty much all I got, unless anybody's got any questions.
Any questions? Okay, do we have any other reports?
we have none.
Okay, before I move on to the next one, we've heard a lot of reports, and every one of them, there's a main theme running through, and that is the staff to a person is stepping forward and doing a great job. And I would like to add my thanks and on behalf of the board, which I'm sure wouldn't be in agreement, that we're all appreciative of the work that all of our staff members are doing to make the best of the situation that we've been dealt. We appreciate it, and we hope that you all have a wonderful holiday season. You stay safe and have a good time enjoying it. So with that being said, the next item is comments from the floor. So there's 30 some people, or there was 33 participants out there. Some are not board members or administrators or staff. So anybody that wants to make a comment, this is the time to do that. I must mention, as I try to each time, because we sometimes have new people, that this is a time for you to make comments about the schools, but not about particular individuals. So we don't name staff, we don't name students for sure. But it is a chance where someone has a comment, either positive or negative, that they'd like to make. They can do that. And if it's something that needs further discussion, this is not a time when the board will enter into discussions on the topic. Then I request that you get a hold of either the superintendent or myself, and to get the item actually made as a part of an agenda at a future board meeting where it can be discussed. And if it is personal in nature, we can do it in an executive session as long as all the criteria is met ahead of time. So with that being said, you have the ability to either use chat or raise your hand and we'll call on you or respond to the chat or read the chat to everybody.
All right, so I do have one person who's asked to speak, Laura Clifford.
Okay. Laura?
Hi, I hope you can hear me okay. I am driving.
You got a real echo going.
Here. Let me try to.
Okay, I'm not hearing you now.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you, but on my reception, I don't know about others, but I hear like an echo, like you're almost in a barrel.
Well, I am driving, so maybe I can limp through it and okay. So I just wanted to thank you for the conversation last.
I think we may have lost you. You said you were driving. If you're on the move, we might have dropped you in a dead zone.
I still see her on. Nope. Nope, she's still here. Hold on. She's still here.
Can you hear me now, Andy?
Yeah, there you are.
Sorry, I am driving in my car. I finished my job today and I had to go pick up the kids at grandma's house. So I apologize for reception and I hope it doesn't cut back out. So I appreciate being able to speak at these meetings and unfortunately I haven't had time to connect with my board members to have a discussion. And I know, Bob, that you had suggested we don't call out people individually, but I do have a positive one. So if it's okay, I would like to just also thank Andy Carlton. He reached out to me after the last meeting and invited me to his office space where we had a great conversation. Interestingly, able to see each other's views on a lot of topics and just have a really candid conversation. So for those of you that are, have concerns and you would like to speak with Andy or Kathy, both of their doors are really open and they would invite us in as parents and community members to have those discussions with them. So I really encourage you to ask for that. Andy, I don't want to put you on the spot, but he has offered for that to happen. So, I really encourage parents and caregivers.
Oh, we lost her again.
All right, if she doesn't come back right away when she is back in.
All right, I think she's back. Now she's.
Oh, there she is.
There she's back.
Sorry. So I just encourage parents to do that and reach out to our superintendents and have this conversation. I also just wanted to provide the board with an update. I don't want to be the broken record that I've heard on the meeting tonight, but we're not doing well. And we've had a couple of conversations today with our kids' teachers on if we just completely pull them from the district and go homeschooling. We're really concerned that the district is going to go remote D option, and that did not work well. And my kids are tech savvy, but they're younger, they're carry record grades. So, we're really struggling with I haven't sent my kids back after Thanksgiving break. And the teachers have been fantastic. But
We lost her again.
one more time, and I'm going to be quick. So we have not gone into the option D. We're cohort A, and our teachers have been great at limping along with some work for them. But it's not fair to our teachers to put that burden on them either. So, we have peers of mine that have quit their jobs. Daycares are full. We're just not okay. So, so I just hope I hope my peers speak out as well. I know that you guys live every day, as community members and with our content as the best. We want the
I think she's gone again.
Okay. So I see Laura.
No.
No.
Now she's back.
So with the ending note I have, I'm so sorry about the connectivity, but with the ending note I have is we just want the best, and we want, we know that everyone wants the best, and we're all trying to get by, but we're really not okay. And hopefully maybe at the next meeting I'll be a different tone, but I know that a lot of things are January 4th and January 18th and this and that, but I just don't see a great plan. And I think that would be really helpful to parents and caregivers see. I know nobody has a crystal ball, but what is the goals and expectations of this year? And it just doesn't seem like it's going to change much for the next few months anyway. So I think that would be helpful if we could just have some communication that, that's expected for this period of time, knowing there's not a crystal ball, but it would just be helpful for us to kind of manage and, really assess what our next few, as families in the district, what our next few months could look like. So I appreciate you guys letting me speak. I'm sorry for the connectivity, and thank you, Andy, as well for being with me last couple of weeks ago. I know it all blends together now, but and I encourage my peers to inform the board and teachers and staff as well. So our teachers have been fantastic, and I appreciate them.
All right, thank you. I think we got your messages. As broken up as they might have been, I think you were complete and got your word across, and I understand your concerns. Has anybody else indicated they want to speak?
Not at this point. I would like to say, I did have a great meeting with Laura, and I will echo what she said. My door is always open, Kathy's door is always open, and always willing to sit down with folks from the community, our staff, anyone. It's always good conversation. Nobody at this point.
We have no other hands up, nothing in chat?
Nope.
Okay. Then we'll move on. The new old business 5.1. Entertain a motion to approve for the second reading the following policies: KBF, parent involvement.
Bob, we do have someone that just put in the chat that they have a question. Are we moving forward, or do we want to go back to that?
Let's go back to it.
Okay, so there it is. There's a hand raised.
Hi, it's me. It's Stephanie Gagnon.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, I just have a quick question. I know that we recently did a survey for this food service program, and I was wondering how the choices are determined as to what is given to the students, because I kind of question some of the food choices on like nutritional value, and I was wondering how that is determined and if parents can have input or if there's grants that need help, or how basically that's determined.
Okay, so Stephanie, so this would be, I guess, a question which is outside of comments of the floor normally, because it really does require some kind of feedback. So we could put you in contact with Glenn, or
Okay.
you can call and get a hold of Glenn, and he can explain that to you. All right. Otherwise, I'm sure that the answer is not just 1 or 2 words. It would take a little bit. So, but it's a good comment, and maybe after you've had your discussion, it might be something that Glenn could brief the board at the next board meeting under his comments, because you have a good point. And there's probably a number of people who'd be interested, and then he can discuss that after the 2 of you have talked, and he can let us all know kind of the response to it.
Okay, sorry, I was late in the meeting, so I wasn't sure, because the survey was so recent, I wasn't sure if that was open to kind of mention.
All right. Yeah, so you know how to get a hold of Glenn?
I don't, but I'm sure, is his email kind of similar to everybody else's through the school system?
It is. And you can call on the webpage, his number is there, and along with the email. So you should be able to get a hold of him either way.
Yeah, you can just call central office, and certainly I know Glenn would be more than willing to have that conversation.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. And we would like to know what you need from us. Do you need us to transport your kids to and from school? I guess there was a question about if we run out of bus drivers or having problem, do we're going to need people to transport students?
Yeah, that's a tough one. So, we're responsible for transportation, whatever. I mean, certainly it reduces the need for, capacity on buses when parents transport. But, right now we're okay. Look at things, we're okay right now. But certainly as we move forward through the winter, that may change. And I may be reaching out to see if there's anybody who can, moving forward, transport kids. So we're kind of taking that day by day. As I said, I say this, we're just trying to get to Christmas break so we can have another plan, but reaching out, and I appreciate, I had a conversation with the association this week. I know that privatizing transportation is a kind of a sticky subject for us. We've been through that, and that's certainly not what we're looking to do. But if we can create some other avenues to have some subs, that's what we're trying to do. So we're working on that. Glenn is working on that, and so we'll let you know what we've got moving forward. So
okay, so there's some chats going on, but we're going to move on. They're about the transportation, and I think those can be kind of addressed outside.
Yeah, and certainly if anybody wants to call or come in and meet with myself or Glenn regarding transportation, we're certainly willing to do that.
Okay, so now we'll move on to old business 5.1. So now I'll entertain a motion to approve the second reading of the following policies: KBF, parent involvement in Title I, and KBF E123, school level parent involvement in Title I.
So moved.
Moved by Robbie. Where are you, Joan? Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Can I have a second? Any discussion?
And there were, I don't believe so. The policies are right from the federal government that we must have. So.
Right, and we looked at them last month.
Right.
This is the second reading.
Yep.
So if there's nothing new to come up, and there was no discussion last month on them, then I'll call for the vote.
Bob?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Robbie?
Yes.
Joan? I wonder if we lost Joan.
Did you unmute her? Because she can't unmute when she's just calling.
Yeah, but I unmuted everybody. Let me see.
Joe's muted.
Yeah, I know, and I don't know. Can't for some reason. There we go.
Yeah. Joan?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Yep. Vicky?
Yes.
Stephanie?
I'm not going to vote again.
Gotcha. Andrea?
Abstain.
Okay, Joe is
hear me?
absent. Yes, we can. Yep. And Dory,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Moving to new business. 6.1. Motion to elect Allison Robitali as a school nurse for the Carrie Ricker School for the 2020-2021 school year as recommended by the superintendent of the schools.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we got some motions and we got some seconds.
Take your
So
choice.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I got this one as seconding.
Okay, no discussion? Then call for the vote?
Bob,
Yes?
Jen,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Andrea,
Yes.
Joe. Oh, Joe's absent. Sorry. And Dory.
Yes.
Yes, motion carries. And I don't believe Allison is with us tonight.
I didn't see her on here.
Nope.
Andrea, on the other hand, is.
Yes.
So entertain a motion to elect Andrea Millage as a grade 6 teacher at the Oak Hill Middle School for the 2020-2021 school year as recommended by the superintendent of schools.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved
Okay.
and seconded.
Yep.
Any discussion? Seeing though, we'll call for the vote. Bob, did you say Bob?
Yes.
I say yes.
Okay.
I say yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Andrea,
Yes.
and Dory.
Yes.
Motion carries. And Andrea is with us tonight.
Hi, Andrea. Welcome. You're muted.
Thank
You're muted. Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
And now we can hear you. So what made you choose RSU 4?
I used to work at RSU 4 not that long ago. So I had to come back. I missed it too much.
All right.
Oh.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
I'll tell you, we're excited to have Andrea back. Andrea's a fabulous teacher, and she's going to be a nice fit at Oak Hill Middle School. I know Ben's excited as well.
I can see the smile on his face. I figured he would.
Yeah, he's pretty excited.
All right. Well, again, thank you. Welcome. Move on to 6.3, a presentation from Kathy Martin and Marco Aliberti regarding graduation honors.
Actually, it's going to be Mel and Marco.
Oh,
I believe.
I see how it is.
A good leader knows how to delegate.
Right. And now a presentation by Mel Gagnon. No, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to talk about an update that Jen provided to you all at the last meeting regarding a CIA committee meeting that we had. And we did a brief presentation about high school graduation honors. And so, as you guys know, with the advent of proficiency-based diplomas, the class of 2021 was the first class that would graduate with a proficiency-based diploma. And obviously, we've been through a lot, ever since that took place. And so, some of the more traditional things that we've done in the past for graduation honors are being replaced. And so we're just communicating what those changes are to you this evening. It's actually been a really good process at this point in time, and we've been able to hold on to some of the traditional aspects of our honors, like honor roll, for instance. And we've been communicating since the beginning with the class of 2021, the changes that will be coming. And so we've just put it down in writing at this point in time and given it some, thought about what it's going to look like as far as graduation regalia is concerned. and also some speaking parts. To replace the traditional valedictorian and salutatorian speeches. So with that introduction, I'll probably turn it over to Mel if she's amenable to that, and have her discuss what those changes are.
Absolutely. So in the past at Oak Hill, we had honors and distinction, a gold cord for honors and a distinction cord for students who earned 27 credits and a certain average. So, and Robbie was great at helping kind of talk about that in our meeting, and probably Bob and Vicki and Joan can attest to that. That came about back when the school had levels 10, 20, 30, 40, and it was a way to recognize students who had earned a lot of credits and had a great average, but maybe didn't have a GPA that put them at the top of their class for that honors. So we have maintained that distinction and what we will recognize moving forward. We have changed it a little bit, and I'll explain that. But at this point, we are adopting decided to 4 years ago, the Latin honor system. So students who have a GPA of 3.6 or higher are summa cum laude and will receive a stole at graduation that is gold that they will wear over their gown. Those that are magna cum laude, 3.3 GPA or higher, will have a cord that is gold. And those students that are cum laude with a GPA of 3.0 or higher will have a cord that is silver that they will wear over their gown at graduation. And then the distinction, which we are carrying forward, we never really upped the credits through the years. When I started in the district 22 years ago, we had around 21 credits to graduate, and we're at 24 at this point. So we have upped that to, for distinction, to have cum laude with 30 credits. Now, for this class that is graduating currently 2021, we will honor that at 27 credits. It didn't seem fair to change that on them this late in the game. So we will honor that as well. And just a note there that GPA is still based on the 7 semesters once that, senior grades are finalized in January normally. And then the speaking parts at graduation, it's always really been the valedictorian and salutatorian who have spoken at graduation. I think perhaps a few times it might have been another speaker. We've had students in those honors that weren't comfortable through the years, but for the most part, that is who has spoken. So we're changing that at this point. To be eligible for a speaking part, a student must have earned summa or magna cum laude. And these students will submit a proposal for a speaking part, and that will be reviewed by the administration or the leadership team. So that is what we have put forward. Like we said, we met with the committee maybe 2-3 weeks ago. And I believe Jen presented it to you at the board meeting later that night. So that's what I have. I don't know if anyone has any questions for Marco or myself.
I would just like to reiterate that I came from a different district that continued to bumble their way through with this process. And it was, as the school counselor and having to determine these things, it was like nailing Jello to a tree. I completely appreciate how much time, effort, energy, and communication over the years that you have taken to educate all of the students and the parents about this, because I feel like this has been, it's very transparent, it's very clear, and overall it's where education is going and recognition, and it's completely appropriate. So good job.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add to that too. There was a significant amount of work that went in this. When I came to Oak Hill High School, oh, Mel, what was that, 9-10 years ago?
Which time?
Yeah, right. I know. We had started talking about this, but really couldn't nail down what this would look like. We had committee work after committee work after committee work, and it's really nice to see, as Jen said, a lot of other school districts have and she puts it really, you want to honor students, but when you're grading and reporting differently, some of the old models and the way that you do that just don't work anymore. So, you know, to see this finally, you know, come to fruition and have something that's clear and makes sense, and still honor our kids for academic achievement, but in a different way, really, it really has come together nicely. It's good work.
So I guess I'm a little confused. I thought a lot of discussion over the last several years had been that we were moving away from the 4.0 scale. If that's the case, then how do you get 3.5s, 3.6s, 3.0s? I thought it was the efficiency or the proficiency base was basically a pass fail, and a student could take the test more than once. So I thought that we had moved away from a 4.0 scale, but obviously that doesn't seem to be the case, or we wouldn't be able to have these distinctions.
Yeah, that's correct, Bob. Yep. Yeah. My first year at the high school, I started with the class of 2021. No, with the class of 2020. And I'm trying to think, I think it was the class of 2021 that started with, you know, the change in with jump rope and using a 4-point scale. Everybody else was still on a 0 to 100 scale, if I remember correctly. And so that's just been working its way up through the system. Last year was the first class, or the last class, to have a 0 to 100 scale, and everybody's on a 4-point scale at this point in time. And, you know, like you were saying, as far as like taking things over and having additional time to complete assignments and assessments, that's still built in, or it is built in.
Okay.
We're no longer grading on a 0 to 100 anymore. We're grading individuals. We're reporting on individual standards, proficiency levels, and then, you know, creating course grades, course proficiencies. So.
Okay, well, I guess I'll have to spend some more time with somebody in a better understanding of what we've moved to, because it doesn't quite jive with what I have thought we were moving to over a number of years. But as a parent, not being a parent, I'm not getting all that communications about how things were, you know, moving to and going on either. So I'll have to get with either Melissa or Kathy to have that discussion at some point. Any other comments?
I can share, Bob, the next report about the jump rope system that we are using for our reporting. I can share that.
Yeah, well, I guess, you know, if someone can take a test 3 times, can they keep getting until they get a 3.9? You know?
No, they still get a 3. They still get a 3.
You know, so, you know, if you're trying to get a high score, you keep taking a test, keep getting your score bumped up. Is that the final score for the final test that you go and take? The high score you get? Or is it the first one? It can't be the first one because they might not pass and we give them an opportunity. So I'll have to get some more information on it from my first knowledge base. There's no other questions. Then we'll move on. Committee reports, Finance Facilities Committee.
Yeah, Bob, we on the budget report that I got, the budget is still froze. And we have 58.67% of the budget left. And the cost centers are all within the parameters for the budget as we are at this time. The Facilities and Finance Committee met last Tuesday, well, Tuesday before last, and we went over the RFQs for the engineers to narrow down our list, and we did that. And now we have to meet, or the administration has to meet and figure out what kind of addition we want, what we need for space. And then when we bring in the architects, let them know so they can have an idea of what they're actually going to be bidding on, to present us with with the plans. So that's ongoing.
Okay.
But
Any
we
questions,
did,
Robbie?
we did narrow it down to 3 architects.
Okay. It looked like quite a bit of work. There was a bunch of packets out there on that table.
Yeah, there was what, 9, Andy?
There were 9. Yeah, we had nine firms. Yeah, and they're all fantastic, right? And the reality was, as we talked about, you know, what we've got to make sure we what makes sense for the architects. So that was a big thing.
Okay.
Did anybody else give comments like I did?
No, yours were really comprehensive, though,
Yeah.
Jen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. Glad I could help.
Okay, Personnel Policy Committee.
There were a couple of meetings at that Ben had, and we elected the Andrea Mildridge, you know, for grade 6 teacher. And then there was a meeting for the school nurse, and what I couldn't attend, Jennifer Waterman did. And thank you very much, Jen, for being able to do that. So all in all, the interviews went well.
Yes. Welcome, Andrea.
Okay, CAI Technology Committee.
We met prior to this meeting where Kathy informed us of the, as she mentioned to the entire board tonight, about having to do assessments in January. So that will be interesting. I'm glad that they're looking at a much shorter format, considering that there's not much time to prepare everybody in the state for that. So that's good. The other thing that we did is we went over policies that will be brought to the policy committee. So I get to look at them again. Yay. In regards to the LAU programming and homeschooling and all things associated with curriculum. So again, policy committee will be seeing these, but these are all policies that are generated from the state level as well.
All right, any questions, Jennifer? Seeing none, then board member comments.
I just want to wish everyone a very happy and healthy Christmas and a safe one.
Thank you, Joan.
Thank you, Joan.
I just want to continue to thank the teachers, the administration, all of the staff. I know how exhausting all of this is. I know how exhausting it is for the parents and the kids. And I just really hope that everybody gets some rest and replenishment as much as you can. Enjoy your time with your family and celebrating all of the holidays. And thank you.
Any other comments?
Yeah, Bob, I'd like to make a comment. I'd like to thank the parents out there. I have a feeling that we have asked a lot of our community over this COVID-19 stretch. And it has been actually pretty amazing how they have handled it. And I would feel like the empathy out there is very, very high right now. And I hope we can make it to the end of the year and have a Christmas break. And maybe we can stop moving down the road and start looking at a different plan for the spring.
Okay, that would be nice. It's my intention to do this Zoom board meeting again for our January meeting. Just be right after the Christmas break and everything, just to be a little safe, and then we'll reevaluate whether or not we have the ability to keep separated and still come together, either in a gymnasium or at the central office or someplace, and then Zoom the meeting for the public to be able to participate and watch, but to give the board members an opportunity to get together. So plan on our meeting in January, first meeting in January, to be remote as we are doing it tonight. There
And
are
I
no,
would just, I just add, Bob, one of the things that I really like about having this platform as well, even when we're in person, we're getting more participation in meetings than we've ever had. And I think that's a good thing. It really is.
It is.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Andy. The parents can come in like never before, you know, with the Zoom or with the phone, and they can participate. And that's very important. What Robbie said, we are asking a great deal from parents and the community. So the more input they have, the better off we all are.
okay, and one last thing, I noticed there was a lot of chats going on while people were giving the reports in that. Do we capture those, Andrew?
Yeah, they get, I believe, get taken in the recording. Am I correct with that, Norma Jean?
Because there might be something that needs to be responded to by someone in administration. I don't know, I saw different ones pop up, but I was paying attention to the reports and not the chats that were coming up. Okay, I also want to wish everybody a wonderful, safe holiday season. Those who have an opportunity to rest over the break, please do so. And know that your efforts are positively appreciated by myself, by the board members, by the community. And we hope that when you come back in January, you'll be recharged and ready to hit it again. And hopefully people will be cautious and we don't have large outbreaks following the holiday break that cause us to go 100% remote. We don't want that by any means. We'd like the students back in class, but that's just not physically possible at this time. And so therefore we're doing the best we can. So if there's no other comments real quick, then I will declare this meeting adjourned.
All right, thank you. We are adjourned at 7:51.
Thank
you all very much.
Thank
Have
you.
have a fabulous holiday.
Good night.
Thanks. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks, Joan.
Good night.
Hey, Robbie
Yeah.
and Dory, can we connect maybe tomorrow? Can I give you a
Sure.
phone call? And
Yep.
Dory, I'll give you a call.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
See you, Andy.
See you. Have a great night.